What's going on, everybody? I'm Rob Wilson. I'm a comic book artist, storyteller, that kind of thing. And welcome to Strictly Art Live number 12. That's right, we're pulling double duty in a 24-hour period, and I'm your host. I got a chance to play catch up after a good night of well deserved rest. Got a chance to see the last couple episodes of My Hero Academia. We're going to talk about that. Also, the latest episode of Kaju number 8. I'm also going to check that out now because now there's Kaju number 9 and even more stuff is going on. So I'm excited to talk about that. We got at least one solid hour of fun to go ahead and dive into. I look forward to that. And let me go ahead and get started. First of all, shout out to everybody that's on the streams that I am live streaming from. That includes YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, and Kick. Got it down now, see? All it takes is practice. That's how you get to Carnegie Hall. Kidding. Yes, also follow everything that I got any and everywhere on the link tree, RWA Arts, Linktree /RW Arts. And Linktree is spelled linktr.ee/RWARTS. So be sure to keep that in mind. Check out updates and stuff. That's normally where you can see all my stuff. Support my Patreon. Support me on Subscribestar. I'm on both platforms in case you hate Patreon. I got that too. I got an alternative. Also, you can actually subscribe, and my Cash App is on Linktree as well. In fact, I actually got my first Rumble rant last night, and I was extremely thankful for that. I think his name was BTSD. That's the initials he went through. Shout out to him. Rumble ranted me $20. That was awesome. Who knew? I've always said if I had more time to do my art, I would spend as much time sharing it with you guys, producing great stuff in a timely manner. But, my case is, hey, I got to work a little more than 9 to 5, but the equivalent of where I have time to at least live stream on my days off and share the fun art that I have with you guys, that I have and that I create. And hopefully you guys like it. And also hopefully I inspire other artists as well, because far be it from me to be the only artist in this artistic community to only care about me. You know what I mean? The next generation is always great. I'm always excited to see new young talent. I'm always excited to see what new stories that other people may bring to the fold. Speaking of which, I got a chance to check out Jason Bascom's Absolute. And I also got a chance to check out J-Bot's Berserker. It really does read like a kid's book, so I thought that was pretty cool. Also did finish Berserker basically set the premise and the stage of the character, as he stated, is an ash can. So it's kind of like small amount of copies available. I was fortunate to have one. In fact, I think I put it back. Yeah, I put it back. He actually wrote on there, what number it was of 100. And he also said, thanks, Rob. Thanks for being a bro. So it was pretty cool. I liked it. Makes it a whole lot more personable, too. And let's see. I just finished earlier today reading, how do they call themselves, between Isaac Bell and Alexa Lowe, the studio that they have together that makes Metal Shade. Got a chance to finish issue number 2, which sets the stage for even crazier stuff going on. The main character, she got her upgrades, and now she's got a bunch of little munchkins running around from her charge up, which hurt like hell. And now her strong hand is even stronger. So it was interesting to see the characters kind of meet up and converge against the oncoming big bad. So at first it took me a minute to kind of get used to what was going on in the necro world and, the story building. But in the back of one of the books, it even has the world building process. It has a map in which the necro world exists. It shows specific areas of interest. it also shows how the necro world is connected to other places and the sun that's near it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool lore to share. What else? Yeah, I finished that. So I think next I'm probably going to get on to Dean Kane's All American Lawman, which sounds cool. I'm excited to check that out from Gabe El Taid. Hey, it looked cool. I got it. I didn't care who was affiliated with who. It's not one of those things where, people just tend to rage out and be like,
don't give a damn about what they used to be doing. Well, customers do, you fucking idiot.
yeah, all that stuff I don't really worry about. So if I like it, I like it. Call me sold. If it has disturbing material in it, I got nothing to do with that. I want to be inspired as well as inspire. And if I can get inspiration from other people's books, kind of like, okay, they went this route with their story. Great. Let me go this way, this route with my story. So that way it's still unique, it's still different. I got plenty of anime in here and memory in this brain and enough comic book lore. I'm not saying I'm the greatest comic book knowledge base that there is, but I got enough to kind of get the idea of what makes a good story. And also, my practice now is to make sure that I actually know the correct sequence in order to tell those. That's how I look at it. Um, let's see, we got about 4 people on Rumble. We got YouTube, normally the lowest. It is what it is. And occasionally I'll get somebody on Kick, but normally not. People always watch the replays on Twitch, so I average between 4 to about 12 viewers in there. But I just want you to know, we're growing. We about to heat it up. It's like unpredictable. Let me see if we got. Okay, all right, we got some music rocking. So yes, I'm gonna go ahead and start the drawing and start talking about some of the stuff I saw because I did watch 2 episodes of My Hero Academia. The episodes before that, I felt like they weren't really worth talking about, like the whole villain thing. The Nick of Time episode of My Hero Academia season 7 was pretty cool. We got introduced. Well, some of us already knew about Star and Stripe, the character, the female All-American All Might, and how she fought Mr. Deterioration. I forgot his name. Shigaraki, and that turned out, to be pretty brutal in disguise. Now, as far as the villain episode, which was episode number 3, you had the guy that could shoot belly lasers. He got somehow convinced to work for the bad side, and I was just like, they caught him, they put him on trial. I was weak in the knees. I fell into temptation. That was his kind of thing. So he had to be on watch, but it was decided that he wasn't that bad of a guy, and that since you started with this class, we're here with you together, that kind of thing. So that ended up working out, and then somewhere along the lines, I don't know when it happened. I'm gonna have to probably go back and see where and when All for One escaped and he was hiding out in this cave. That kind of thing was going on, and when it did, Shigaraki came back wounded after his fight from dealing with Star and Stripe, who stripped him of most of his quirks. That dragged on some kind of little student council hearing for the belly guy, the one that shoots the belly lasers. I really don't care about his name, but I get it. He's been there for a while. He just didn't seem important enough to me. And sometimes that happens because you got so many characters with quirks in My Hero Academia. Like the Mushroom Girl from the other class, Class B or Class A, whatever. Don't care. But she's dangerous. I know that, and I respect that because I mean, you cut off somebody's air, their respiratory system using fungus. Yeah, that's funky. That's straight up funky. I ain't gonna lie. So next up, they got to the point where they set a plan in motion to lure out All for One, and with the belly laser guys, betrayal, and all that. And then they box up all the villains that tried to come through using what's his name? The kind of like butler type that could teleport everyone because they captured him, and they're using him to their will by one of Class B's students who can temporarily use other people's courts. He's like the male rogue, very arrogant, but he's still a team player. I think he's rich too because he helped fund all these giant platforms that converged onto the villains, and the heroes pushed them through portals. Um, I guess to get them away from civilian population. I think, and the new fight's about to square off. The villains were trying to break out of the casings that they were in, and the heroes needed only 3 minutes, no, 3 seconds in order to get them through the portals. So that was that, and I believe that covers all the way up to division. So that was kind of like the idea to divide those characters. Moving on, that covers what up to 6 episodes of My Hero Academia so far. Yeah, 6 episodes. So on to Kaju number 8. The last one I believe I covered was we know about. Well, let's go far back with the first academy class. What's going on, Boss Brown? Boss Brown. He said, "Yo, man, bless." Let me see. Yeah, it's a shame they won't let me put up. They won't let me put up the. They won't let me put up like the chat. So, oh well. But yeah, Boss Brown, what's up, man? Glad you could make it. Good to see you. Hope you've been having a good week. Hope you had a good weekend. Um, but yeah, that's what's been going down so far with yeah, Kaju number 8. Let's go back to where the main character, the cleanup crew, the old man as they call him. He got accepted as a 10th student UAE. They had to fight a bunch of Kajus. His knowledge made him valuable, and the super arrogant blonde girl with the high level, the young prodigy, she basically dominated the battlefield until the mushroom Kaju showed up, humanoid size. He was identified as Kaju number 9. And he broke her down, and then he rolled out, and then he started resurrecting the Kajus. And that's where the old man stepped in because he's Kaju number 8. And, he set stuff ablaze, as he normally does, in a buck wild-like fashion. So the next up, I think the next important one was that they had to eliminate all these mushrooms that were sporing out. And this battle led to Kaju number 8 and Kaju number 9 getting a chance to fight. And in this process, Kaju number 9 got to find out. Well, how do they say it? Let's fuck around and find out. Yeah, that's basically what happened. All the way to the point where he didn't understand why his torso was why he could see his torso in the sky, and all that, because he was getting those lift off punches left and right. So things happen. I think the defense forces, they spotted number 8 and number 9 together, and that was an opportunity for number 9 to escape, even though his core was exposed. Um, he was on the verge of death, and he made threats. Aha! Next time I'll beat you. You know, the usual villain stuff. But he was so weakened that while he tried to survive, some of his basic attacks were inoperable to an unsuspecting person that he carjacked. You know, so that was interesting. There is a recovery time for these humanoid Kajus. Let's see. Next up, that led to Kaiju number 8 being confronted by the the captain, the small guy that can take out a lot of Kajus, and they do get out. And clearly, he could tell that Kaiju number 8 did not fight like a normal Kaju, and he did not put up much of an attack. He defended himself, still lost some limbs in the process, but he did defend himself. So once that happened, um, he got an opportunity to get away. He hit his blade instead of killing the actual officer, and that was duly noted because normally kaiju show no mercy, which is why the defense forces show no mercy as well. It only makes sense. So that led to a lot of pondering and thinking, and because of that, the old man, even though I believe that's the thing, yeah, he got promoted to be a full-fledged student of the defense force, Kaju Defense Forces, and it made him like some kind of officer because of his knowledge of how the Kajus operate. So he made it swore that he promised to not let him down, you know, even though they just fought, in different forms. And that led to the Terror by Air, which was the next episode that ended. That was episode 8, called Welcome to the Defense Forces, and then leading into uh, episode number 9, Raid on Tsukuwa base. And it was like this dragon kaiju that was in a swarm of dragon kaijus with him. And he seemed to be another one that was highly intelligent. Um, so he was able to control an entire legion of uh, high class kaijus that were kind of like dragons. Lots of hyper beams. I mean, big hyper beams. The type of hyper beams that would even put fear into freaking Pokemon, characters. And yeah, that went down. That fight was serious. So the main lead dragon, he confronted the captain, asked if he was the strongest there, and then he wanted to start the annihilation. Very unique looking character. I like it. It's spoken 2 voices. Um, let's call him Red Dragon, but I get it. He's probably called Kaiju number 2. You know what I mean? Because if Kaiju number 8 is Hibino, Kaiju number 9 is Mushroom Man, then he would be Kaiju number 10. I'm just speculating, but still, that's common sense by my book. So, yeah, All Out episode 9 was an all out war fight, duke it out multiple ways. They tried to use tactics. The skin of the dragon kaijus were extremely tough, and they tried to use some tactics to get to the underbelly, which were unsuccessful because the dragon kaijus almost worked tactically like a unit. So they covered each other, had each other's back. All this crazy stuff, man. It was really good. Boss Brown said, if you like My Hero Academia, then you got to read the My Hero Academia Zero manga. Um, Also said, I got so busy I forgot to catch up on Kaju number 8. Must be 2 to 3 episodes behind them. Yeah, they're up to episode number 9. Um, one of the episodes is kind of like a sleeper, like a bathhouse episode. You know how those go. They're not really exciting, but it's like a cool down period. But I will say, where there was only one of those so far for Kaju number 8, My Hero Academia had at least 2 of those episodes already in the um, what was it? In the 6 total episodes I got so far. So the pacing, obviously since Kaju number 8 is fairly newer, um, they're clearly they're striving to get an audience in order to get a renewal. You know what I'm saying? You know how I go, balls, man. You watch anime since I think, and it sounds like you read the manga too. You know how it goes, man. You know exactly how it goes. But those right now are my 2 favorite that I'm focusing on until solo leveling returns. I mean, that right there, the whole first season, woof, magnificent. Telling, I'm telling you, I stopped watching anime for a hot minute, and when that came out, I was like, okay, I'm in. Rob Wilson, anime, we're back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. Um, My Hero Academia Zero manga. Let me check that in. Zero. Yeah, I got that on my search. I'll check that out later. Yeah, so there's some great stuff on there. Look, hey, as I've said before, in case people forget, I've covered X-Men really stuff. You know, I liked most of it. Some things I didn't like. Um, there isn't too much of that to really worry about when it comes to um, anime that I watch. I'm normally pretty selective. The anime is normally pretty thoroughly vetted anyway. One things to kind of look out for is like with the smaller anime, what do they call it? Inaccurate voiceovers for those type of curated speeches. I'll just say curated. You know, start putting woke stuff in it, which ain't cool, man. It ain't cool. And make sure you kick all those goofballs out of there before they start getting crazy. We got enough goofballs in the world. We don't need a set of goofballs in every genre. Please, no. And that's all I have to say about that. So yeah, that was a lot of fun with, with those anime. You know. A lot of times I gotta play catch up and can't watch them as soon as they come out. Might be working, might be sleeping, but never both. Okay? So yeah, I got a chance to work on some other stuff after I got off of last night's live stream. Kind of debating whether or not to watch it or whether or not to show it. Vigilante. Uh oh. I wonder what it makes of My Hero Academia Desperado. Hmm. It looks interesting. Okay. They're not super expensive neither. So yeah, I'll do some further research into that. Boss Brown. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciated. And shout out to everyone that's here. Boss Brown, and anyone watching live, don't be shy. If you got any questions, I will talk to you. No doubt about it. In fact, I'm going to go check on Kick right now. Because right now in my automatic chat through Restream, I um, only have YouTube and Twitch that I can see through Restream, and I don't want to tax the network that I'm on while I'm live streaming with having multiple windows open. Hey, I get it. I'm just saying it's that kind of party. It happens. It happens. So again, that's just what I'm rolling with. And I gotta redraw some shapes here. So I was going over my script. I noticed some pages. I added some pages, but I added some pages in the script, but not in the um, cluster of pages that I have to draw. So I'm gonna be working on that offline, probably for the rest of the evening, and I will probably save the new characters I put together last night for VKP, because you got, like I said, you got to have different tiers of enemies. You don't want your, your biggest enemies to be 86 off the break. That just makes no sense, you know. Unless I'm producing a story where the boss was defeated at the beginning, but yet, due to stories and circumstances, his followers have been influenced by his remains or whatever, inspired by his message, and therefore they hope to resurrect the major boss and the enemy towards the end. Which that could be a thing, kind of like Scorpion King type thing. That story, but hope to do it a little bit better. So that's that. But I'm not going for that kind of story. It's not for right now. And if you haven't, please watch a previous live stream where I was working on the fan art for Unconditional Shove. I'm still putting more goodies to fill up the space. A lot of people say, the more white in the background, the more negative space. But also, I like to say, even the black can be considered negative space as well. If it doesn't have anything for the story. That's kind of how I look at it. So let's see. We are at the halfway point, and from here, I think it's a good point to take a pause. You know what? Before I take a pause, let me do a quick spill over the Baki Ashura crossover, which I got a chance to see. What was it? This past weekend or last weekend? No, it was last week. I got a chance to see it my days off. That was pretty good. I actually enjoyed the fact that there was a Baki crossover, because I think, in my opinion, Baki, the lore and stuff has gotten stagnant on Netflix. Now, I don't know who's in charge of Baki over Netflix, but there was one point for me where he started shadow fighting the praying mantis. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I even tried to rationalize it for a minute, and be like, well, maybe, maybe there's a reason, and maybe it gets better, so, and then he slammed himself into a wall, trying to fight a full-size, invisible praying mantis in his mind. I was like, I'm done. I have no idea what I'm watching. You know what I mean? Literally, literally. You know, it's a shame, but this crossover picked me back up. Um, when Rocky first went over to Netflix, he had a lot of paramilitary troops, crazy stuff. He had Russians singing that would hypnotize their opponents and stuff, and just maybe it's possible, but just a little too far fetched for it to be a fighting anime. So once they took it back to the arena, great, but kind of late. I endured that, and then I went on to once they started talking about him versus Praying Mantis. I was like, let me try it, and as I said, you know how that turned out. But this crossover, Rocky Ashura crossover, which I heard of the anime Ashura. What was it? Kangen Ashura, I believe that's the name of the Kangen tournaments that they would have, and they had some nasty fighters. I never saw it until after I saw this crossover. And it's good that not just Ashura was in the tournament. They also had characters from the Kangen Ashura series as well, fighting some of the Baki characters, well-known faces. Hanayama fought some kickboxer that was like Joe Higashi. That was a really good fight. Most of the fights were pretty good, except for the well, yeah, most of the fights were pretty good in the crossover. So I was like, hey, let me go ahead and watch the actual Ashura series. That would be great, you know. So I watched it, and I noticed it has some of that stiff animation. Um, was it CGI? Yeah, computer animation, which is stiff as hell. I get it, you know, just not that kind of thing that really worked for me. But then they went back to traditional animation too, and it's my understanding that's a Netflix original. So maybe let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. It is based off a Japanese manga series created by Sandrovich Sandrovich Igor. That doesn't sound Japanese to me. Just the name. That's all I'm saying. Known for its over-the-top action and dramatic storytelling, the series is set in a world where powerful martial artists are known as Kangen engage in brutal battles to determine the world's strongest fighter. What they don't mention in this quick little synopsis, I guess it's probably AI based, is that in the Kangen Ashura series, it's for the fighters are representatives for corporations. The corporations duel at each other by picking their fighter, and they're given certain treatments and lifestyle. It's a very different angle from Baki because Baki is kind of like you could be a fighter from anywhere. You know, you can endure the toughest of life's troubles. Could be a military soldier. Could have survived in the jungles of XYZ. Could have been a spoiled brat, but trained under the best conditions. Could have been a medical doctor. You know, that wanted to perform experimental surgery in order to enhance one's knowledge of how to carve up the body. You know, that's how Baki was. But this one is very specific when it comes to uh, huge corporate entities that hire fighters, and also rich families as well. Um, some of these rich families, I mean, they're no slouches. They make sure they train the best fighters, you know. So I like the difference and the distinction between Baki and Ashura. Um, there were some fights in the Ashura series at the tournaments. I thought that was kind of cheap. I didn't like the outcome, so I was like, "Boo!" You know, like I was in the WWE arena match or something. You know, watching it and booing. going the good guy. You know, that's what me and my homeboy used to do when we go to the live events. We'd always boo the good guy and then cheer on the bad guy. So, but yeah, today's his birthday, by the way. Shout out to Jace Terrell. He would have been 46 today, you know. But his legacy carries on through his family and through his friends, you know, myself included. So that is what it is. Um, but yeah, I like almost like the Kangen Ashura series or Ashura Kangen, whichever way they call it, more than the state of Baki today. And I'm wondering because Baki started out before Netflix, but Kangen Ashura started on Netflix. Will there be some kind of phase out one day that may break the mold because fan base for both would never allow either one, whether it's um, what's his name, the main character of Kangen, yeah, it's Kangen Ashura, Oma Tokita. Um, they would never allow Oma Tokita to dominate Baki, just like they would not allow Baki to dominate Oma Tokita. It was the perfect opportunity with the crossover, at least, in a certain part, for them to say, "You're good. You're good too. I think we're on the same level. Um, see you next time on Dragon Baki Z." That kind of thing. But if Netflix gets its say, because both series are on the show. But we got oh yeah, Boss Brown said Baki gets mad weird, but it is awesome. No doubt, Yujiro Hama is still the king, and long live the king. New Raw Baki going into to the Jack Hama arc. ATM at the moment looks sick. Yeah, even Jack Hama. For some reason, they were calling him Jack Hammer in the Baki crossover. I don't know what that was. But yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. But I do kind of have this potential theory at maybe about 10 to 20% right now. The future would determine whether that percentage increases. That possibly because Kangen Ashura started on Netflix, it may carry on the title from Baki. Who knows? Yet to be determined. That's just a film theory, that kind of thing. Almost forgot to shout out to comic historian. May he rest in peace. I used to watch his stuff. Um, uh, let's see. I used to watch his stuff along with um, Comics Explained, to kind of get the gist and play catch up on some comics and stuff to get the lore down. And I remember at one point, I think he was complaining that there was not really much good stuff anymore worth reviewing and worth talking about. And rightfully so. Hopefully that had nothing to do with his demise. Frustrations can run kind of high. And we did just lose another comic book artist who was driven to suicide. So those are real issues. I'm not speculating on what was the cause of his death because I don't know. But I do wish condolences to him and his family. And yeah, the body of work that he accomplished may never be forgotten. You know what I mean? Definitely had to mention that because I remember seeing it on social media a couple of times within the few days that I've been off. And yeah, I knew he had a bit of an impact on my life, what I enjoyed. So yeah, that was my spiel on Ashura and the Baki crossover. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and I'm gonna get into uh, my brush collection on both Procreate and on um, Clip Studio Paint. All right, so don't go anywhere. Actually, go somewhere, take a bathroom break, grab a drink, and I'll be right back. How's that work? Hi. Yes, I am back. So, since I'm already here on Procreate, I'm going to go ahead and start there. Ooh, yeah, that came out really good. Yeah, see, these fighting anime, that's what I like because they really start getting my mind to thinking, after all, my characters are basically meant to be fighting, like fighting based, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start. Sorry, I had to look at like four different new designs that I put together over the past week. So I just kind of got stuck in all with that. All right, so let's take a look at some of the brushes that I have for Procreate. You know, it's in the description as I mentioned. So I got to make sure I follow the content that I've been promoting. Let's see. And if you have any questions, be sure to drop any in the chats. I will check from time to time. Just be patient with me, and I will search where your questions may be. All right, so in Procreate right now, these are my top brushes because they have a feature called Recent. So my top brush right now is the Thin Render Solid. That's actually courtesy of Jing Paint. His brushes are actually available for sale on Gumroad. Most of these brushes I don't talk about either on Gumroad or Etsy or on, I think, Cubed. Cube is another platform where you can download digital brushes and stuff like that. So as I was drawing my comic, yeah, this has a really good fine tip, but it's still great for what resembles to be sketching. You can add as much pressure as you want to almost give it the look of an ink line. Obviously, with any brush in Procreate, if you hold the arch or straight line, it can turn into kind of like a vector thing that you can adjust like so. It's a great tool. These are tools I use because I do not have as much time to sit down traditionally. Hopefully, this becomes a success, or I complete enough comics to be on schedule because I'm looking at this for the next 20 years. I'm already 41 to have that time to, just slow down and say, okay, I have these books. This is what's out. I got a solid pace. Maybe I can hire other artists that are willing to cooperate or writers and lighten up my load. But until then, I have to work at the best pace I can with the resources that I have. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So that's my first main brush. If I want to do like some sketching, quick what do you call it? Quick hatching, something like that. I have this where I can do like cross hatching and create unique patterns of some sort. Um, there's a bunch of those. Let's see. But yeah, the top ones I keep all in my recent. The anime motion brush, which creates 3 lines at once. You can use that for a fast, series of lines to present like a hatching effect. I believe you can make them longer. They're not that well structured, but they do their job. Um, I also have an ink version of the hatch making. The angles preset, so changing the angle of your canvas will allow it to have other effects. All right. Soft brush is a must. Airbrush. Hard blend. I don't really use that much. So it blends in with other. It's like a smudge brush, basically. Let's see. Mechanical pencil. I think that's part of Jing as well. Jing paint. This one's really good to have that sketch effect. You know. Oh, I forgot my music. Because we're doing lo-fi. Let's try chill hop. Let's see what we got on here. All right, kick is good. And Rumble's good. Again, shout out to everybody that's watching. Rumble, you're my biggest audience. Hey, I can't thank you enough. Um, thanks for just taking the time out to see my work in motion. It gives me the drive to keep coming back and share what I can with you guys. Obviously, some things I can't share on the fly, but hey, the RWA show must go on. I may sign up. I may do like the locals thing, but I think I have enough subscription based stuff that doesn't really get that much traction. So I have to go by what actually works. But since I'll never be monetized on YouTube, I am thankful that Rumble allows where they can do Rumble rants and support your favorite person on the platform. So Rumbles work great for me. Kick is new. Like I said, I have maybe 1 or 2 viewers ever, which is fine. It takes time to grow a platform. All right, next. Uh, yes, motion lines. Motion lines is really good for covering the shaded area. You can obviously adjust the opacity on most of these. Some people would call this cheating. I get it. It is a brush though. It fulfills a job. Um, the flat square. I find the flat square is absolutely awesome when it comes to um, painting. If you can turn the smudge into a flat square, it is like absolutely awesome in blending. I think this is another Jing paint one too. You can really blend in stuff really well. I've used flat square for some of my portrait art that I've done, for like the Demon Queen. Um, who else? Alina Masquerade when she did uh, Gwen Stacy. What do you call it? Gwen Stacy cosplay. I drew that out. That came out pretty good. Next, the eyelash one I like to use. The eyelash brush. I forgot where I got this one actually, but it works very, very well for those sharp edge curves, and it has a hell of a cutoff too. So, as you can see, just right there, that pretty much resembles, the entire eyelash. You know, we even draw out the eyes with it. I've never drawn with it, but as far as eyelashes, it's second to none. Okay, okay. We got more hatching, more of a hatch brush. This one's a little bit wilder than the first two, so I don't really use it much. Sometimes I may use this to give me a baseline of how I want the hatching to work when I'm doing sketching in Procreate only. That's just my workflow and how I do it. People can use brushes however way they choose. That is completely up to them. So that's how I look at it. Wide straight edge. This is a much more dominant um, hatching, which works really well when it's at the right angle. Obviously you can cut off some of it to make it look uniform, that kind of thing. You can even with this. In fact, let's go to another layer. With this, you can even take these and then shape and mold it the way you want, not the right angle. Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. You know how the song goes, basically, like that. And yeah, it produces some pretty cool results. It's just tedious to find the desired outcome that's you want. But I think it's a good brush. Technical pen, that's my inking standard. Um, I normally have the stabilization. Yes, 35%. That's great. Right. So yeah, technical pen. I actually use it for a lot of graphic design. So that way I can get those really solid inks, sharp edges and everything. Obviously, if I transform this, it'll begin to get a little blurry. But I absolutely love the technical pen on here in Procreate. Now, mind you, Procreate and Clip Studio Paint, they are my standards. However, Clip Studio Paint is specifically for making manga and comic. It also has an animation section, which I have to master, but hope to one day, as long as they remain consistent and keep doing what they've been doing. I don't mind paying, the annual subscription. Not everybody agrees with it. Got it. So if you got an iPad, start with Procreate first. It's like $7 or $8. That's it. No annual subscription, no monthly subscription. However, if you want to get more brushes and have more versatile brushes, unless you're a genius, you already know how to make brushes. I've made some brushes in the past, but I couldn't dedicate time to do it because I have other things to do, like draw comics. So for those that are savvy in turning, different images or textures into brushes, great, more power to you. chances are, if it's very good, I may buy it. You know what I mean? So that's how I kind of look at it. Now, this is a newer one that I found. It's called the Round Letter Guide. Now, it's used for stenciling, but I actually use it for perspective because with it, I can do 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective. In fact, with this perspective, I can actually shift it around. And I've used it already for different forms of perspective in a comic book panel. So that's very useful in different ways. And this one I found pretty interesting. This is part of one of the more recent brushes that I had gotten off of Etsy, and it features like tons of um, already drawn out. They're like almost like stamps instead of brushes, you know. And it's only one off, so you can use these as references or like a practice baseline. Um, if you want to create a quick character, something like that, or make something crazy. Yeah, I don't want to get carried away. I was like, I can make this, I can make that, I can make this. That's where it gets kind of stuck because there's so many possibilities of different ways to make stuff. And I think this is a very good reference tool, good practice. Um, would I use every figure on here? No. Sometimes I would just use the figures just for the muscle structure. Between that and Pinterest for reference, you know, like bodybuilder shape for the males, and then there's also, let's see, oh, that's it. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. There's also the female stamps that are here as well. Great references. Um, I bought both the male and the female packs for references because I want to make sure that I have, when I need it, on the fly, on the hoo-ha, a quick set of structures. Now, I'm going to go from here onto Clip Studio Paint shortly, but I also have similar stamps like these, but I have even more options on Clip Studio Paint. Now, Clip Studio Paint right now is nearing a memory point, a storage point, because they have so many things involved, and they have like their own backup cloud, you know, with subscription, you get like 20 gigs or something that you can back up all your art onto. But it does take time, so you got to leave your iPad on or your computer on to do all that, all those operations on in the background. Um, and then what else? That's it. I think my other brushes got taken over. So yeah, those are mainly my top brushes. Um, there's other stuff like full background, you know, for a stamp. And I've learned like these are good for references, but I wouldn't directly just use them. You know what I mean? I would change things here and there, tweak them, maybe look at some other stuff and compare, you know, what works for me or the kind of look that I'm trying to get, sketch wise and ink wise. So I always think of things not just in painting and rendering, like smudging and, trying to get the right color mixture and all that stuff. But normally grayscale, and before even that, sketching, line work, ink work, rendering as far as shadows, hatching, cross hatching. Does the hatching match the angle of the shape that I'm presenting? Is there another way I can do it? Let me look at other artists and see if I can get an idea of some complex designs to in the direction of what I'm looking for. And I say that because I'm going to share with you this. I use this reference thing where you take a bunch of photos and you put them together to make a collage. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but Sal Regala, his ink on Brett Book's work is amazing to me. I mean, it is. I can never hope to duplicate, but out of some of the most complex shapes and shadows that are presented in some of this stuff, I may see one little small design and say, okay, I like that. Now let me do my version of that. Just off of that. This is the process that I use in order to not copy, but to emulate the best work of what I envision for myself. I could never draw as good as Brett Booth. I could never ink as good as Salvador. Those are some straight veterans in the industry. They have put in the work, and the result speaks for itself. But as you can see, I love the way these look. We don't see enough artwork that looks like this today. You know what I mean? There's only an exceptional few that really stick. I would even argue to say that, maybe even with my opinion, Jim Lee, his work may not be as good as it used to be because he's had to go with his CEO work than actually just working on doing a run, 2-year run, 3-year run. The last good book I've seen him do, and that's just me, I'm sure there may be others, is Batman Punch. It's absolutely amazing. And I still have yet to finish that book. So I need to get back to it and finish it. You know what I'm saying? So we're almost done. I get it. For some people, it's maybe the boring stuff. But hopefully it may help somebody else. Plus, I put it in the description of today's show. So I got to make sure I deliver on that. So as my Clip Studio Paint is loading, you guys have seen me work on Clip Studio Paint many, many, many times. I'm gonna put that. Okay. I have so many brushes in Clip Studio Paint just in the iPad. My iPad is terrible. 1 terabyte. Sometimes when I try to load them up, I get a notification. You might have seen one of my previous ones, but a notification says something about new storage. And that's specific for Clip Studio Paint because there's so many assets that I have bought, I've downloaded, I've gotten for free, that it's wild. It's absolutely wild. Just like in Procreate, I also got some of my brushes from Gumroad, like Jimmy Reyes' set that I've been recently using for unconditional shove artwork. As I've said in my post on X, that for the comic artists, serious results. Definitely don't just comic book brush ink set. They have some truly amazing pieces in here. And Jimmy Reyes has already promoted it. He's done several live streams with this stuff. And this is like, there's no shortcuts with this stuff. It's to increase stabilization, to make you keep the curves right, or what it is you're drawing. Because if you don't, sorry, had to pull Lexi's door for me. See, this is easier preset at certain angles too. I love it. It's just a matter of knowing how to use them and when to use them. Technical pen is classic. Now I will say I like this technical pen. The tips are a little too blunt. The ends are a little too blunt for me. So that's where I come in. out of this set, this ink set, I forgot where I got it. The ink pen is the only one actually used out of the set. Unless I'm doing some experimentation, it is the ideal for me. Um, Better than the basic pen. It's better than the G pen in my opinion. Oh no! Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Better than real G pen. Let's see if it's move it around. No, it's meant to be rough like that. Mapping pen, that's smooth. That's really good. Calligraphy, maybe. But I mean, Jimmy Reyes once has better calligraphy slide tips than I think the calligraphy. I mean, for line effect, so that deals more with vectors. I really mess with vectors on 50 paper. But you can see why it's a great Photoshop alternative. At one point, my goal was to get off of Photoshop. Creative Cloud was getting way too expensive, even though I was learning video editing with Premiere and special effects. However, all that other stuff that they clustered together in the cloud, which went from $300 a year to $265 a year, and then what was it? I think I think I left before we went into 400. I don't know how much it is now. That's trifling amount. It's really meant for people that are in the industry, and the company has these apps set up on there for the artists that they use. It's a lot going on. So yeah, the basic pen ones aren't bad. Um, the Matte the Matte X Raw Cake Cracker, I think is really good for those ink splashes. There's a lot of different spacing techniques you could use for it. The Stroke 6, oof, that's huge. Bring that down some. That's not bad. The ink tilt filbert, like I said, it's ridiculous. I could be here for probably the next 3 hours to discuss all the different brushes that I have, but I won't put you through all of that. Oh, whoa! We just got ambushed. Uh, oh god! I'm getting spammed out here. Let's see. Where's the spam coming from? Oh, it's all on Twitch. Oh boy! See, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about right here. Why you gotta spam me? Doesn't Twitch have enough like codes and stuff like that to keep them busy? Why are you coming on my page? Pause. Yeah. I don't know why you're doing that. I gotta go in. See, this is why sometimes I have to go in Twitch and make sure that certain things are not on there. And then lo and behold, it is. It's not cool. Stuff and spam stuff on here, blocked. Hate to do it. That's what I gotta do. Let's see, blocked. All you had to do was come in and say hello. Why you gotta spam me? You gotta take it down from me while I'm trying to share great stuff with people. It's a shame. Why, instead of being annoying, why can't you help others? Help out with fellow man. for women. All right, so we got more different techniques. It says this is long hair, semi-low. Let's see. Wide angle rich brush. Oh, that has a lot. See how that takes a minute to carry on, and the stabilization is fairly low too. If you look at this, it's very pixelated. So maybe I would use that for a background, but not too much because it's the detail is delayed, graphic spray, forward spray, all kinds of stuff like this. Yeah, sorry about that. We're getting spammed out. Let's see what else. Space brushing. Oh, yep, this is very useful. I remember my first completed piece that I did on Clip Studio Paint. It was of a female elf with butterfly wings, and well, not an elf, I guess a fairy, female, thick, and she was flying away from the city. The city was in the background and all that. First person to ask me, did you draw that yourself, or is that asset background from an asset? I was like, it's from an asset. And that was the beginning, I think, of me learning what disqualifiers were. But there's always people out there trying to disqualify what you do, whatever way you do it. And then when you change for them, they know where else to be found, and then a new disqualifier shows up and says, "Oh, you should change it that way." And then that keeps happening until you finally say, "Enough is enough. I'm going to do things the way I want because it's my art." Just like I don't tell other people how to do their art, but it's also like the folks that say, "Hey, you misspelled a word." Never heard from them before, never talked to them before, but they all of a sudden need to let you know you missed the letter. And you tell them, "Great, thanks." You make the correction. Are they around to see the correction? No. What's the point then? You know. So I have a couple brush buildings that I use for reference. Here, let's do some Doctor Strange and what's the other one? Inception. It's the same building, clearly. Well, it's a series of buildings that have been spread out. These can be useful, and you want to have a quick reference to the city. And you can actually adjust the angles of these as well and shape the perspective that you're trying to present. So it's a lot of options, a lot of tools that can help you get to where you need to be, especially for comic book making. That's what this program is designed to do. Old schoolers may scoff at it because it's not doing everything by hand, which is fine. Everyone has their own opinion and they're entitled to it. It's up to you to determine what works for you, what advice works for you, and if you find you may need brushes, find what brushes also work for you in your workflow. So the artist is constantly developing new skills, new perspectives, and things like that. It's important to always review and adjust accordingly to your desired outcome. That's how I feel, and that's what I'm sharing with you. Man, these have a lot. Oh, we got the crowd. Look at that, see? See the load? It's taking a while to load. I got way too many brushes. Boom, see? Memory usage is increasing. The system may cause the app to close without warning to prevent the unsaved data being lost. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that happens. Wow, you see that? How many different types? Whoa, That's a lot of options, right? I think I got this brush off of Graphically, but if that doesn't give you perspective, and then they also it's not just the blacks. They also have white fill in too, so they can cover over stuff, and you can get an idea of how you want it. So those two guys must have come from here. Oh, wow! How about that, huh? Let's blue that in. Yep. Look at this. That's what I call tracking motion. Absolutely amazing. Let's do that again. Now, is that not cool or not? It not only gives you plenty of references, but also it gives you a reference, plenty of references to draw. One image, maybe more. Okay? But it can also set up to show you the motion and pacing for animation. Now, both Procreate has Dreams, and Clip Studio Paint already has a built-in animation thing, and they both deal with onion layers and all that. Procreate a little more complex on it, but I'm sorry, Clip Studio Paint is a little more complex on it. Where Procreate Dreams is its own separate app, so that way it doesn't weigh down on the Procreate app. Even though you can animate in Procreate as well. It's just a lot going on. I'm not saving this. Do not save. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of the crowd section. Yeah, I got tons of brushes. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's go into watercolors. I think maybe we'll come back to this another day. There's a lot of sections. Did I get all of these? I didn't even get all the hair. These I got directly from the asset store. And, yeah, even if you don't like how this looks, it can still facilitate the flow of lines that you may want to draw to, you know, um, give the look of hair. I'll figure it out. But that's a lot. That's a hell of a ride. Um, yeah, they got the wet brushes too. I'm just saying, they got them. You maybe want to show a character that can sweat. Yeah, so let me get back on track. There's a lot of brushes. Long story short, I don't want to waste any more anyone's time. Like I said, I may do a part two of this coming off the tail end of a show, but this just kind of gives you an idea of what is available at your fingertips. Top free materials, as it says here. Let's see. There's something here. Bear with me. All right. So yeah, the asset store, in addition to third-party brushes, you can get for Clip Studio Paint. I buy gold, Clippy gold. I buy gold, and I get Clippy with it to buy different assets, even 3D assets. But yeah, you got lots of options, different ways to use them. In my case, a lot of these would be references. Oh, look at the honeycomb one. I like this one, the B4. That one right there. That looks pretty useful. And look at the cross hatching. Yeah, cross hatching. brush. You got lots of options, and then other suggestions as well. I have so many brushes. In fact, look at this. Twinkle, twinkle, baby. Twinkle, twinkle. You ever seen that? Be cool. It's a sequel to Get Short. Vince Vaughn kept doing that. Twinkle, twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle. So I'm going to go ahead and download that brush. It's free. This takes forever. There's a lot of background things that Clip Studio Paint does. So, here we go. So while that's doing that, might be useful one day. You know what I mean? I'd love to draw it, not just deliberately use it. Dry ink pen. We have so many assets in Clip Studio Paint assets. I think this is its moneymaker in addition to the annual subscription. And it's got its own network. So, like I said, this is growing 100 times more than what it once was as Manga Studio. And I commend them on that. I truly do. You got 3D objects and stuff. Some of this stuff, each component has its own file. That's a little too much for me. I'm just trying to find the right angle, right reference, right background for exactly what I want. Okay? So I use a lot of these tools, but in addition to the tools that are here, because they're own tools, they're only good as you know how to use them. You know what I mean? So with that, I often have a sharp eye for what it is I want to see and what angle I want it at. If it doesn't look dynamic enough, I'll cast it aside and just go ahead and draw, erase until I get it right. That's kind of like the Todd McFarlane Toys method when it came to sculpting when we first started. Just keep sculpting until it looks right. So yeah, that's pretty much it with that. I'm not going to bore y'all anymore to death about Clip Studio Paint and Procreate brushes that I do have. So, with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody to stop by, including Boss Brown. Boss Brown. You know what I'm saying? So, thanks for stopping by. Shout out to Rumble, Kick, Twitch, YouTube. Anybody that watched the replay, great. I try to do these streams back to back on my days off. So, my next day off could be a week from now. No telling. Especially if the holidays come up and all that kind of stuff. I gotta work because I work to make money to cover my drawing and then go to conventions and network because I love art that much. So I've done a lot to make sure that I could at least, if I couldn't do anything else, couldn't lay elbow drop off the top rope. Couldn't give a people smackdown. I can at least draw and share my artwork with you. It means so much to me to be able to draw and express myself, see other artists. It's an imaginary cloud that's just waiting to have someone pull an idea down, pull a concept down, and with their technique, present it to the world. And you, people, words of bank. So, yeah, thanks everybody for stopping by. Much appreciated. Boss Brown said, ladies, man, there's a cool group of creative guys with a creative support group on here if you are ever interested in joining. Seen over by a guy called Who's Vegas. All right, I'll be on the lookout for him. Most definitely. So that's it for me. There could be a chance that I may stream in the morning, but it depends on how early I go to bed tonight. It's already 8 p.m. So I gotta get started, wrap it up, and call it a night. Or tomorrow is another day, another challenge. But if I don't stream tomorrow morning, I will see y'all next week sometime. Here we go. Back-to-back action in a 24-hour period. I'm Rob Wilson, friendly neighborhood storyteller. Peace out. Take care.